everyone. It is Yo Taylor back here at the Style Table on My Style Mondays. And it is almost Valentine's Day. It's a time for love. And for many of us, it's the time of planning weddings. When I think about my own personal experiences, they have both been stressful and funny, of course, funny long after the wedding. I've been a bridesmaid in 7 weddings and a bride in 2. There's so many reasons that you need to have a great wedding planner. I have seen and have had firsthand experience when things go way left without the right systems in place. There's so many things that need to be done that we can just forget about or not even think about to start with, especially during the planning stages. Like, for example, I forgot to have a sound system and not a soul heard the vowels. And today I am here speaking with 5 Legacy Group Events and Wedding Planning Services CEO, Yvette Wood. Yvette, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Yolanda.
Now, I'm going to jump right in because you do huge corporate events. And now you're doing even more wedding events. I want to ask you some questions to help us navigate weddings. For example, I was just putting on these dresses, going to these weddings and being in them. What is the difference between a wedding planner and a coordinator?
Okay. Well, wedding planner comes in at the very beginning of your wedding, hopefully. Well, as a coordinator comes 4 to 6 weeks before the wedding. A wedding planner will negotiate your vendor contracts. A wedding coordinator will just need to see the contracts to know who the vendors are the day of. Your wedding planner will coordinate everything for your wedding. Your wedding coordinator only deals with the things that happen that day, right? They're not involved in any of the processes. They don't help you picking your vendors. They don't negotiate your vendor pricing. They don't help you pick out your venue. They don't suggest things to make sure they don't go through a checklist from A to Z to make sure your wedding is planned flawlessly. They don't make sure that your bridal party has their dresses and their shoes. They're kind of just there that day to make sure that everything that you planned goes according to plan, but they're not a part of the planning process. Therefore, they can miss key elements if you did not plan appropriately for your wedding.
That was a huge help. So if you guys have any questions, now we all know.
Right. For example, I just wanted to share that there was a woman who hired a wedding coordinator and not a wedding planner. And this woman hired a photographer at some wedding expo. She didn't think to ask the photographer if they had an assistant. So therefore, she expected one photographer to split in 2 and take pictures of her getting ready and the groom getting ready. Well, the wedding planner would have said, sweetie, never hire a photographer that doesn't have an assistant or another photographer to work with them, or you're only going to get half the pictures because your photographer cannot split in 2.
That's an easy thing to forget. That's an easy thing not to even think about when you're just trying to piecemeal this together, where a wedding planner will have a checklist.
Absolutely, we do. From A to Z.
It's nice to have someone to take that stress away and have it all organized. So all you have to do is check off the list. What are 3 important tips on what to look for in choosing a wedding planner?
Number 1, experience. You want to have someone that has actually planned a wedding before and that they know what they're doing. 2, you want to look for a personality match. You want someone that's going to work with you, someone who can bring your vision and your dream to life, and not someone who's working against you. You also want to look at their online presence. Do they have a website? Do they have live pictures of a wedding that they've done in the past? Do they have references? Is there someone that can vouch that this person is who they say they are? Those are 3 key things that I would look for.
Okay. experience. And I like the part that you said because there are lots of wedding planners out there. You have to find someone that will, because people say, oh, bridezilla or this or that. Well, maybe that person turned into a bridezilla because she didn't have the right people helping and guiding that matched and aligned with her personality.
Correct. Correct. And she probably was more of an antagonist than an advocate. And that can happen.
Yeah. You're saying that the wedding planner could be an antagonist more so.
Absolutely. For instance, I had a wedding that I turned down for conflict. I knew that it was not going to be a good match, and so I didn't accept the wedding. I didn't want to be more of a hindrance than a help to her. For example, I had a couple that wanted to get married who approached me. They wanted to have a wedding. They wanted to get married underwater. I didn't particularly feel that that was a safe thing to do. And I knew that I was not going to go underwater. So I chose not to accept that wedding because I would have been more of a hindrance than help.
Okay. I totally get that whole thing. But that's interesting. Weddings have totally taken
Yes.
yeah, just they're everywhere, all over the map. I've seen brides come down from jumping out of planes to one lady I saw coming down. She was hanging on a rope or something, and they lowered her down, and it's
Bungee
they've gotten
jumping.
to be really fun and creative. So
Yes.
yeah, so you definitely need a wedding planner who's
A
team
scuba diver.
underwater.
There you go.
Yes, a scuba yes, a scuba diving enthusiast. So yes, having the right wedding planner in place that matches and aligns with what your goals are. Now, here's a question because I have clients who are older. Actually, you and we work together with brides. I style brides. And one of the first people we worked together with was a woman getting married for the first time. This lovely bride is getting married for the first time over 60. Um, how do you approach weddings when you're planning weddings for people this is their first marriage ever, and then people who've been previously married, like myself, going into their
Absolutely.
next marriage?
So if it's a first time wedding, age is important, right? Because if you have someone who's between 20 and 30 and it's their first wedding and they have these grandiose ideas. So let's go back to our childhood. We all dreamed of being a bride. We all wanted the Cinderella dress with the horses and the buggies and the tiara, and that's great if you're under 30. When you get 40 years old, that Cinderella look doesn't look so great on us. So then we need to go to a more Jackie O, Michelle Obama, more sophisticated type of look. And then you don't want to necessarily have 400 people at your wedding. You kind of want something a little bit more intimate and a little bit more elegant. You want to elevate it to another level. If you're an older woman, I would think, now I haven't had one come and fight me on that. So you kind of got to look at the ages, right? And then find out, just because they've been married twice or this is a second marriage, did they even have a first marriage? Because some people just kind of went to the justice of the peace. And now that they're getting married again, they actually want a formal wedding. So I kind of listen to their story and see where they are. And then we plan from there.
Yes.
Absolutely. As the wedding planner, we're here to take the stress off of you. In fact, I insist that 30 days before the wedding, my bride takes their hands off of everything. All they do at that point is show up because everything is planned, everything is set. I go over everything with them. And at that point, I'm like, you're out now. I'll see you on your wedding day. And that way they show up. They don't have the stress. They're relaxed. They can be excited and feel like a guest at their own wedding. And that is so important than to be stressed out trying to figure out everything. So many people think they can plan their own wedding, and some of them do, but then they don't even enjoy the wedding because they're so wore out from all the planning. Right. I
Your
mean,
special.
imagine this. I had a wedding and it was on a yacht, right? And the bakery was delivering the cake. The guy's coming up the ramp with the cake, drops the cake over the ramp. So cake is floating down the Ohio River at this point. Now,
Oh my God.
if the bride had not had a wedding planner, this guy would have went to the bride and says, "Hey, I kind of dropped your cake over the rail here." That would have ruined her whole day. But having me as a wedding planner, we had to think quick. So we're like, okay, how far is the local bakery? I need you to run to that bakery. I need a 10, an 8, and a 6-inch round cake. We stacked those three together. We put flowers on them. She never even really knew the difference. She knew something was different, but she hadn't figured it out. We didn't tell her till after it was over, you might want to call the bakery and get your money back. But the wedding at that point was over. She was married. They had cut the cake. And we told her the next day. A wedding planner buffs in between. We make sure we catch everything so that the couple does not have to be disturbed or be bothered with those things. I mean, because that was something that, like I said, most brides probably would have cried.
And that's exactly when I said things are funny after the wedding. That's a funny story to tell after the wedding, but during the wedding, that's the last thing you want to be absorbing. One tip I want to give you guys is that there's so many beautiful dresses that look so gorgeous all over the internet. And I have to tell you, those dresses are so ornate that they would be like $10,000. So if you see the dress and it's like $700, that dress,
$199 too. I've seen those dresses in a box.
yeah, you guys really do your research. It's a lot of research. So people like, why do I need a stylist to help me pick out a gown? Can't I just go to you? You need to have someone who does the research. I do a deep dive in the research of these companies so that I know that you're going to get what you're supposed to get. It also allows you to know that you're going to get your things on time and that you're not buying something that if you get it and you go, oh, this is terrible. Well, I've already done the research on whether or not you're going to get your money back, if you can get your money back, if they'll even respond to you to give you your money back if it comes in and it's something that you don't want. So then you need a backup. So that's why you need someone to help you look through these things and think about it, because this is your wedding. These are pictures that are forever. This is a part of your legacy. The same with the wedding itself.
And also, I want to add the stylist is not just for the bride. There's the bridal party. You have different body types and different heights and different complexions, and everything doesn't look good on everybody. Your stylist is going to be there to say, hey, maybe champagne may not work. Maybe we need to look at more of a gold. Or maybe we don't need to do off the shoulder. Maybe we need to do one shoulder. Maybe we need to do sleeves. Sometimes you need someone to say, hey, this is going to look better on you, because let's face it, ladies, I'm a woman and we go in the store and sometimes we have no clue what we want.
This is it for My Style Mondays. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you got some great tips. Yvette Wood is going to drop all of her information in the comments so you can contact her and she can help you start to think about how you want to build your wedding, the wedding of your dreams.
Absolutely. And remember, Five Legacy Group is a one-stop shop. We do it all. We have all the vendors. You don't have to run around town trying to find photographers or videographers, DJs, caterer. We have it all.
And you guys, you know where you can find me at the Style Table, right here at the Style Table LLC on Facebook and on YouTube. But please follow and like and subscribe to my channels. I always appreciate the support. I will see you next Monday at 7 p.m. on My Style Mondays. Bye, you guys.